Hello there, you with NDTV. I'm Maha Siddiqui. Our top story, Russian President Vladimir Putin and Prime Minister Modi had a telephone conversation ahead of the SCO summit, virtual summit next week, and after President Putin averted a rebellion. As per Kremlin, the rebellion was discussed in the telephone call and Prime Minister Modi expressed understanding. The Kremlin statement also interestingly mentions that during the call, Prime Minister Modi, and these are the words of the Kremlin, informed the Russian president of his foreign contacts, including the visit to Washington, D.C. The Indian side's press release, though, makes no mention of this. On the Ukraine issue, the press release by the Indian side says that the Prime Minister reiterated the call for dialogue and diplomacy. Let's turn our attention to Manipur, where people in Imphal arrived in huge numbers at the Manipur Chief Minister's residence to stop him from heading to the governor's residence, as reports of him deciding to quit or put in his resignation spread among his supporters. This on a day when Congress leader Rahul Gandhi met the Manipur governor, wrapping up his two-day visit to the state.
I will not resign. This is what Manipur Chief Minister BJP's Singh, under fire for his handling of Manipur's ethnic clashes, tweeted after a day of high drama, as his supporters blocked the gates of the CM house in Imphal to prevent Mr. Singh from going to the Raj Bhavan to put in his papers.
We are all gathered here because we want to request to the CM Biren not to resign. तो इसी अभी work नहीं है उसको resign करने की. It's not the right time for him to be resigned.
It's not the right time for him to resign from his CM seat, because if a leader of a state leaves behind his people in the chaos of in the middle of the chaos and the confusion without resolving the ongoing conflict, where will we go?
The continuing violent situation in Manipur had led to speculation that Manipur Chief Minister Singh may resign from his post. This led to a huge crowd of supporters led by women and youth gathering here at his residence. At the time that the Chief Minister tried to leave his residence, he was stopped by his supporters and cancelled his trip to the Raj Bhavan in a day of political developments in Manipur.
The drama outside the Chief Minister's house took place on day 2 of Congress leader Rahul Gandhi's visit to the state. Mr. Gandhi called on the Manipur governor and appealed for peace.
ये यहाँ मैं कोई राजनीतिक स्टेटमेंट करने नहीं आया हूँ, मैं इन चीज़ों पे कमेंट नहीं करूँगा, मैं सिर्फ चाहता हूँ कि यहाँ पे जल्दी से जल्दी शांति आए. I came here because I wanted to share the pain of the people of Manipur. It is a horrible tragedy that has taken place, very extremely sad and painful for all the people of Manipur and all the people of India as well.
Earlier in the day, Rahul Gandhi visited a relief camp in Moirang and spoke to those affected by the violence. He also met representatives of civil society organizations before leaving for Delhi. But over 120 people have died in Manipur since May, and with the state still seeing violent clashes and deaths in the last 2 days, the road to peace is challenging.
From Manipur now to Delhi, where a contentious central ordinance that sought to take control of Delhi's bureaucracy, skirting a Supreme Court verdict, has been challenged by the Delhi government in the apex court in the latest escalation of the bitter feud. The Delhi government, led by Arvind Kejriwal's Aam Aadmi Party, has filed a petition challenging the constitutionality of the ordinance, which was introduced by the BJP-led central government and establishes a National Capital Civil Service Authority to manage the transfer and disciplinary proceedings against Group A officers in Delhi. Meanwhile, in Tamil Nadu, Governor R.N. Ravi paused within 5 hours, an unprecedented move late last night to unilaterally sack arrested Minister Senthil Balaji after Union Home Minister Amit Shah's intervention. 2 letters accessed by NDTV exclusively reveal. After a 5-page letter citing his constitutional right to dismiss the minister overriding the state's DMK government, the governor retracted the highly controversial decision in a 1-page letter referring to the advice from the Union Home Minister that it would be prudent to seek legal opinion. The governor versus the DMK battle in Tamil Nadu has clearly escalated.
A U-turn just 5 hours after Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi wrote to Chief Minister M.K. Stalin that he is dismissing Minister Senthil Balaji. The second letter said the first letter would be kept in abeyance after the intervention of the Union Home Minister. In the first letter, exclusively accessed by NDTV, the Governor told CM Stalin that I am conscious of the fact that under ordinary circumstances, a Governor acts on the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. However, in the instant case, your advice, or to put it more appropriately, your insistence to retain V. Senthil Balaji against my advice as a member of the Council of Ministers reflects your unhealthy bias. Under such circumstances and the powers conferred to me under Articles 154, 163 and 164 of the Constitution of India, I hereby dismiss V. Senthil Balaji from the Council of Ministers with immediate effect. The second letter, just 5 hours later, the Governor said, I have been advised by the Honorable Union Minister of Home Affairs that it would be prudent to seek the opinion of the Attorney General also. Accordingly, I am approaching the Attorney General for his opinion. Meanwhile, the order of dismissal of the Minister V. Senthil Balaji may be kept in abeyance until further communication from me. The Chief Minister has said the Governor has no powers to dismiss a minister, something many constitution experts agree with.
The Honorable Chief Minister has rightly disregarded his letter, has rightly shown the place where it has to be. The letter is ab initio void. It need not be acted upon. It can be disregarded. That is what the government has done today.
The latest round of confrontation started on Thursday evening with the Governor unilaterally passing an order dismissing Senthil Balaji from the State Cabinet against the recommendations of the Chief Minister, who wanted to retain him as a minister without portfolio after he was arrested 2 weeks ago by the Enforcement Directorate in an alleged money laundering case.
The Honorable Chief Minister now, through M.K. Stalin ji as opposition leader, has categorically requested the Honorable Governor then in 2016 and 18 to dismiss a minister from the ADMK government. Now in 2023, he calls this a constitutional crisis.
Sources say after governor's letters, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin consulted senior leaders of the party and legal experts and responded to the governor in a letter calling his decision unconstitutional and illegal, and has further stated that Senthil Balaji continues to remain a minister without portfolio in his cabinet. With camera person Ashok Mahale, this is Arvind Gunasekar for NDTV.
Well, an Eknath Shinde government in Maharashtra has completed 1 year. It's been an eventful year with multiple controversies as well for the Shinde government. Meanwhile, it's Shinde versus Fadnavis. Just a year before the crucial state polls, can Shinde government retain power in Maharashtra?
पण एकाकी लढाई होती देव देश आणि धर्मासाठी म्हणून फडकला भगवान वादळातही नेतृत्वानं कवेत घेत.
An Eknath Shinde promotional video to mark 1 year of his government in Maharashtra in this eventful year. Shinde has managed to keep most of his MLAs and MPs together and also managed to wrest the Shiv Sena party name and symbol from ex-Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray.
आज शिवसेना प्रमुख बाला साहब ठाकरे जी का एक स्वप्न पूर्ति का हम दिन आज सब मना रहे हैं और बाला साहब ठाकरे जी का एक सपना था कि शिवसेना का एक शिवसैनिक जो निष्ठावंत शिवसैनिक है वो महाराष्ट्र राज्य का मुख्यमंत्री होना चाहिए और वो सपना आज भारतीय जनता पार्टी के सहयोग से 1 साल पूरा हुआ है. उसका वो सपना पिछले साल भारतीय जनता पार्टी के सहयोग से पूरा हुआ है.
However, in the last 1 year, the Maharashtra government has been surrounded by a host of controversies. 2 mega projects have been lost to Gujarat after Shinde became Chief Minister. Mr. Shinde has failed to carry out a cabinet expansion. Troubles faced by farmers across the state and rising communal tensions have raised questions over Shinde's governance.
आज 1 साल बीत गए, मंत्रिमंडल का विस्तार नहीं कर पाए. हमारी कोई एक भी माता बहन मंत्रिमंडल में स्थान नहीं पा सकी. जो भी बड़े बड़े उद्योग धंधे हमारे राज्य में आने वाले थे, वो दूसरे राज्यों को चले गए. किस बात का ढिंढोरा भाई?
The Maharashtra power play has also turned into a battle of egos, mostly between the Chief Minister Eknath Shinde and his deputy and high-profile former Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis. In fact, there has also been an ad by Shiv Sena earlier which said that Shinde is a more popular choice than Fadnavis as the Chief Minister of Maharashtra.
Egos apart, with the state election due in just a year, the Shinde government has renamed many districts and even some crucial projects to further a Hindutva agenda, something that is likely to be a major campaign plank for the assembly polls. With Sohit Mishra, Osama Shab, NDTV.
सरकारची झाली वर्षपूर्ती.
Now, as the countdown for the 2024 Lok Sabha elections begins, political parties have buckled up for the final showdown. Some key questions, though, remain. Will an opposition unity emerge? Can it triumph over the ruling BJP, or does the BJP remain incumbent? My colleague Akhilesh Sharma breaks down the BJP's strategy for 2024 polls.
Well, the BJP is gearing up for the upcoming Lok Sabha elections 2024, and there have been series of meetings. And in one of the meetings, the BJP has chalked out a detailed plan for the micromanagement of its campaign. According to BJP sources, the BJP has prepared 3 zones from the point of view of the organization. North, South and East zones. These 3 zones have been created across the country, and states like Jammu Kashmir, Ladakh, Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, Chandigarh, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Daman, Diu, Dadar, Nagar Haveli, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Delhi, Haryana. These all states and UTs have been placed in the North zone. Then there is the East zone that will have states like Bihar, Jharkhand, Odisha, West Bengal, Assam, Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, Meghalaya and Tripura. And while South zone will have states like Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Puducherry, Karnataka, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, Mumbai, Goa, Andaman, Nicobar and Lakshadweep. All these are just specifically for the organizational purpose, and separate meetings of all these 3 regions will be held from July 6th till July 8th. And meeting of East on 6th of July, North on 7th of July and South zone meeting will be held on 8th of July. The East zone meeting will be held in Guwahati. The North zone meeting will be held on July 7 in Delhi, and the South zone meeting will be held on July 8th in Hyderabad. In all these meetings, prominent leaders of that region will be present, along with the BJP President JP Nadda and Chief Ministers, Deputy Chief Ministers and Organization General Secretaries, and also Ministers and other office bearers of respective states will be present in these meetings. In charge of the respective states, State Presidents, Organization Ministers, Chief Minister, Deputy CM, MPs, MLAs and members, other of the National Executive, they will also be present in these meetings, and BJP will decide different strategy and issues for all these areas. So there will be a common thread in all the regions, but of course there will be local issues that will be prominent, and that BJP will make a strategy to highlight those particular issues concerning those particular states or the region. The thinking is, of course, that the local issue should be highlighted, and this way election campaign can be done better. This is the BJP's feeling, and of course the new responsibilities will be given to the concerned leaders in these meetings.
Now, in a significant development, key BJP ally in the Northeast, National People's Party, that's NPP chief and Meghalaya Chief Minister Conrad Sangma expressed his opposition to the Uniform Civil Code, stating that it goes against the essence of India's diversity. He stressed that India's strength lies in its diverse cultural fabric. While acknowledging that the specifics of the UCC bill are yet to be seen, Sangma highlighted the importance of preserving the unique cultural practices and traditions of the region. He cited the example of Meghalaya's matrilineal society, which has been an integral part of its culture and identity. Sangma asserted that any changes brought about by the implementation of the UCC would undermine the region's distinct cultural heritage.
India is a diverse nation, and the diversity is what is our strength. Of course, we don't know what will happen in the sense that whether what kind of bill will come out, if it does come out. So without seeing the actual content of a draft, if it comes out, it will be difficult to go into details. But as I said, from a basic concept point of view, as I said, we are a matrilineal society, for example, and that is what our strength has been, and that is what our culture has been. Now that cannot be changed for us, and definitely that's something that as a political party we realize that the entire Northeast, for the matter of fact, has got a unique culture and unique ways of our society, and hence we would want that to remain, and we would not want that to be touched. So therefore we'll have to see how the bill, if it comes out, it will be, and the actual language in the bill. But as a concept in its own, as I said, it's something that does not go with the entire idea of India being a diverse nation, and diversity being our strength and our identity, and hence a uniform civil code will go against that idea, is what the National People's Party is.
Taking a very quick break now, but here's a reminder to check out our NDTV app for the latest news, and if you haven't already, download the app now. Welcome back. Let's turn our attention now to the US, where students from Harvard have expressed concern about representation. This after a US Supreme Court ruling with regards to affirmative action. The dissenting judge had said that ignoring race won't equalize the society. Let's take a look at what this entire ruling was and what are the ramifications.
What happened to ensuring diversity? Students from ethnic minorities studying at one of the world's most prestigious universities, Harvard, concerned after the US Supreme Court banned the use of race and ethnicity as a factor in university admissions.
I'm infuriated and speechless. This is just racism. It's just racism with a very thin veil. And now we're disenfranchising people who absolutely deserve the chance to get into the school and replacing those spots with people who absolutely do not, but are the children of rich people. I've just met so many people from so many different backgrounds, and like, it would just break my heart for people in the future to lose that.
There were protests outside the US Supreme Court after its 6-3 majority that included Republican-appointed judges ended the practice of affirmative action that was first introduced in the 1960s to increase the number of Black, Hispanic and other minority students on campuses. The White House says it is making a response plan to protect diversity and opportunity for everyone in America. This as the Supreme Court has said that universities are still free to consider an applicant's background. Whether, for example, they grew up experiencing racism, that can be considered when universities weigh their application over more academically qualified students. But deciding primarily based on whether the applicant is white, black or other is itself racial discrimination, according to the court's conservative majority. Republicans, including former US President Donald Trump, celebrated the ruling, saying it will reward people with extraordinary ability. On the contrary, President Biden said he strongly disagrees with the ruling and sided with the 3 liberal dissenting judges, one of whom said that ignoring race will not equalize a society that is racially unequal.
Many people wrongly believe that affirmative action allows unqualified students. This is not how college admissions work. Rather, colleges set out standards for admission, and every student has to meet those standards.
Some believe the ruling might actually benefit Indians. Vijay Ingam, an Indian American who posed as a black man to get admission to a university, says that currently most of the seats earmarked for students from ethnic minorities went to the blacks. Priyanshi Sharma for NDTV.
Now, in back-to-back rulings, starting from abortion rights to affirmative action and now student loan forgiveness plan, the US Supreme Court seems to be on a welfare reversal spree. In the latest ruling, the Supreme Court has blocked President Joe Biden's students loan forgiveness program, invalidating a move looking to deliver up to $20,000 of relief to millions of borrowers, most of whom are students. This decision too, like the one on affirmative action, was a 6-3 verdict, with Chief Justice John Roberts writing for the conservative majority. Chief Justice Roberts criticized the Biden administration for rewriting the law from ground up when it created the program. The court said the Department of Education does not have the authority to cancel $430 billion of student loan principle. In another ruling, it also limits the LGBTQ protection. The Supreme Court has ruled in favor of a Christian web designer in Colorado who refused to create websites to celebrate same-sex weddings out of religious objection. Well, the United Nations has now said that France must address deep issues of racial discrimination in its police force after a third consecutive night of violence, which was triggered after a 17-year-old teenager was shot dead by the police.
Violence sweeps France for the third day, following the shooting of a 17-year-old by a policeman in France on Tuesday. Widespread riots as protesters took to the streets, setting town centers, cranes and other public infrastructure on fire. The mother of the teenage victim said she doesn't blame the police force, but just one person, the one who took the life of her son. The accused police officer has apologized to the boy's family and is being probed for homicide. Protesters say this is yet another instance of indiscriminate use of force by the police and want justice for Nihal. French President Emmanuel Macron cut short his official trip to Belgium to chair a second crisis meeting on the violence in France. Bureau Report, NDTV.
With that, we're taking a very quick break, but here's a quick reminder for you to check out our NDTV app for the latest news. And if you haven't already, download the app now.